10 News.
Wicked winds wreak havoc on a local harbor, flipping boats upside down. Was it a tornado? Hear what we've learned tonight.
A battle over a local horse heads to court. I'm Dan Janik. Watch the disturbing video behind the case now on NBC 10.
And another deadly shooting on a local city street. The tally now more than a murder a month. We'll have the latest. Wild weather churns through a local harbor, flipping boats and downing nearby trees. Our Viper radar captured the cloud rotation. Eyewitnesses say they saw a waterspout, and the National Weather Service agrees. The storm blew through Peyton-Aram in Dartmouth, moving from north to south. These are pictures a viewer sent to our NBC 10 inbox. The force of the winds causing more than a half dozen boats to capsize. You can now see just the bottom of the hulls above the waterline. Heavy downpours also caused local roads to flood, making things difficult for drivers. This video from New Bedford. Our crews fanned out across the area, surveying the damage, and NBC 10's Brian Crandall joins us now with the latest. Brian?
Yeah, Patrice, after the quick-hitting burst of powerful wind and rain, this is what salvage crews were left to deal with in Dartmouth. The waterspout flipped boats that had been moored in the harbor. People nearby saw it happen, the waterspout barreling through. Flipped upside down in an instant, a waterspout tears through Dartmouth's Peyton-Aram harbor, swamping boats in its path, 7 or 8 of them. A couple of trees were knocked down, too. Residents took these pictures of the stormy scene before noon. See the dark clouds reaching down toward the water on the left.
It's one of the strangest experiences I've ever had.
What I heard was a tremendous bang, and then the next thing I know, there were torrents of water.
Folks who live along the shore got a good look.
There was a swirl, a water column moving through what turned out to be a channel that obliterated 7 boats in a row.
Don White and Brad Ellis had a view from here.
There's this blackness moving across the water, and just like a giant propeller churning up the water about 25 feet wide, and it just kept moving right out. As it would get closer to the boat, it would flip it.
The people who live around here tell us that the waterspout cut through here to the boats closest to shore. You can tell where by those white moorings that are now empty. The boat's no longer there.
We saw a waterspout come off the land and then come onto the water, and then probably had a radius, I would say, of about 50 feet, and swirled around a group of boats, and then stayed there for a bit, and then took a sharp left and headed right out of the harbor.
It was noisy and frightening.
And after it was all over, Brad Ellis had 2 boats flip. 2 more belonged to relatives. Crews spent hours pulling in half-sunken vessels and lifting them onto land. George Lawton is also among the boat owners who will now be busy with repairs.
My neighbor down at the foot of the street called me and said, "George, I got some bad news for you. Your boat's upside down in the water."
And some of the owners of those flip boats told us their boat should be okay, and luckily in that storm, no one was hurt. I'm Brian Crandall, NBC 10 News.
Thank you, Brian. Storm Team 10 spent the day tracking the system, and meteorologist Mark Searles